I found a V10 BMW M6 six-speed manual sitting on a property abandoned for years and somehow bought it for only $3,000. At first, I thought I'd just scored the deal of a lifetime, but after getting it home, things started going very wrong. And the craziest part, this car eventually became one of the biggest moments of my life before I drove it all the way to Indiana and sold it for more money than I ever expected. So in this video, we're going to be seeing if buying the cheapest manual V10 M6 I could find was the best decision I've ever made or a complete disaster.
What is going on today, guys? I am currently en route to picking up a new project. Driving down to, I believe it's Lutcher, Louisiana. To a plantation house. My buddy actually is the operations manager, or he actually manages the property over at this plantation, which I'll show shortly. But he told me that he had kind of a barnyard find, 2008 BMW M6, 6-speed manual, super rare. It runs and drives. The only kicker is that one of the cylinders, he thinks that one of the springs broke on it. So I'm gonna go and take a look at it and see exactly what all it needs. It also has a rebuilt title.
Oh! Ew! Dude! What the fuck?
147,000 miles, but V10 S85 motor, 6-speed manual.
Holy shit, dude!
He had me there. Runs and drives. I know that rod bearings are an issue, which I'm no stranger to that. I had an M5, so rod bearings not too much work, but definitely I want to check out if the valves are damaged at all, or that spring was damaged. I'm probably like shaking my ass off. I gotta get a little camera order for this. This truck is like bouncing all over the road. Oh my god. Alright, so this is the 2008 BMW M6. I believe it's 2008. Yep, 2008. And I believe this is one of the cheapest supercars in the world. Six-speed manual. Apparently runs and drives. Let's see. It's so weird not hearing the SMG noise. Oh, clutch. I can tell something's up with the throat bearing, but that's not too bad. But it does have a miss on one of the cylinders. The backs need to be fixed. That's super common on any convertible BMW this era. But headliner sagging a little bit in the middle. Slick top, carbon fiber. I mean, this thing is gonna clean up nice. This is awesome. And then underside is good. It's even got the skid plate all along the underside. It's gonna be awesome.
So here we're trying to load it on the trailer, but because it's shut down one bank, it's only running on 5 cylinders, or I think 4 at this point. He had to basically just mash the throttle and slowly let the clutch out. But luckily he was able to get up on the trailer on his own power.
So we got the car loaded up on the trailer, all tight and ready to go. Mirrors still work. And I'm about to go take a ride in a nice M6.
That's 80.
Dude, that was the most awesome interaction. I'm feeling a ton better. This morning I was a little sick. Allergies were getting to me, so probably why I was super stuffy in that last video. But yeah, super chill interaction with the previous owner. Told me everything. He didn't want to be filmed, but I did as much filming as I could on the car. But I'm like super stoked to dig into it and see what's actually the issue with it. But I can't wait to tell you all the backstory to it, show you all the rest of the car like in depth. But yeah. So I ended up pulling over at this little car wash here. Going to spray this dirty beast down. See what she looks like after she's cleaned up. It's still pretty clean, it's just dusty. I'm curious to see if the rims are gonna clean up. Front bumper is pretty good. I gotta watch out, there's leaking paint right there and right there. Okay, for sitting up in a field for the last 3 or 4 years, this thing cleans up really, really nice. Carbon fiber roof doesn't even have any clear coat peeling on it at all. Some sun fading on the emblems. That's normal for these body styles, or any BMW this year. But from it being wrecked in the front, I mean, you can't even tell. The only really telltale signs I can see are the gaps under the headlights, and then it's also missing. There should be a little rubber piece that blocks water from getting between the hood and the front bumper. I'm gonna have to get that. Probably gonna clean up the headlights. Those are a little faded. But yeah, I mean, inside should clean up pretty nice. I did notice there was some almost cracking underneath. It looks like the underlayment is cracking right there. The seats are perfect. I could probably stain them to get rid of all the crack wear. Obviously headliner, I can just poke some holes, spray some sticky up in there, fix the back headrest. Dashboard is cracked. That's one thing I didn't notice because he had a little sunshade in there, but that is very normal for these M6s apparently. I think I have a workaround to that, but it's going to require me pulling the dashboard. But I mean, this thing just cleans up really nice. I'm surprised the motor still work, and the mirrors too. But I mean, carbon fiber. Dude, this is gonna be an awesome project. All right, it is day 2. Not really, it's been probably a week. I had to get all this in. Pretty much got it on the lift right now. I'm gonna get started on tearing this head down. So off camera, what I noticed was I pulled this whole entire airbox off, and cylinder 1 on this passenger side of head, I got my borescope down in there, and I was able to see that the valve was bent. So pretty much what I'm gonna do is I got my head gasket, oil pan, rod bearings, we got the ACL bearings, and then I got pretty much everything to correspond with that. So oil pan, I got the 2 little oil level sensor grommets, and then a whole bunch of other stuff, brakes, and then the head gasket bolts and stuff for the upper portion of it. So we're gonna get started tearing it down today. All right, so I got all the parts unboxed. So I got the head gasket for that passenger side, oil pan gasket. This is for my 7 Series out back I'm rebuilding. We got oil, 10W40 or 10W60, I believe. The timing kit to do the Vanos. I got a short throw shifter. I just didn't like how it felt in there. ARP bolts, bearings, and then the little sensor gaskets on the bottom of the oil pan that normally go bad. Change them out while I'm in there. Head bolts. The only thing you're probably not seeing in here is the high pressure Vanos line that goes through the front of the cover. I opted out because I looked at it. It does look like it had been serviced fairly recently. And then the throttle actuators, I would rebuild them, but they were just done. So I think we should be good to start the disassembly. So I am going to figure out what I'm going to tackle first. Maybe pull the fan out to give me some room, and then all these accessory lines. Also want to see there is a coolant leak coming from right there. So I am going to see what the dealio is on that. Hopefully it's not a radiator. So. All right, damn, YouTube is hard. I got to remember to make a video like every 30 minutes or so, but I got all the wheels off. The car is off the ground. Went ahead and removed that bank. Per what Identifix says, it says preliminary task is remove exhaust system, manifold, and then I'm gonna move up there. So I think it's right. I don't know. I think it's from looking at the front of the motor, so I'm looking at it wrong. So wait, let me see. Removing and install left cylinder head here. All right, so remove exhaust system. Yeah, so pretty much the same thing. But I'm just gonna do it in order. And then I have those tools. I think that linkage is for the butterfly valves. Yeah, so I'm probably, it's not saying to because they're assuming you've already done it. I'm gonna remove the fan, but I'm gonna at least, now that it's on the lift, I have the brakes. I forgot to show y'all that. I just have the wheels off for that reason, but I'm gonna lift it up in the air and then drain the oil, check the oil quality, and then start looking at all the stuff under there. Maybe do the rod bearings while I'm down there. All right, a little more of an update. We are trying to get the motor mounts off right now to get the subframe down. Pretty much have everything on the underside disconnected. The last thing I gotta do is I got the steering rack disconnected right there, right at the shaft. And then I think there's like a hard line that's running to the steering rack I gotta disconnect, but then the motor mounts as well. And that subframe will come down. Last clips, but we have the subframe down. Up next is we got to disconnect this. I think this is like the Vanos pump right here. Disconnect that. What else? This little bracket for the belt, which is a pain in the butt, from what I remember. And then those two little oil sensors. I realized I messed up. I ordered 2 gaskets for this sensor right here, and I needed to buy those. I messed that up. So it looks like that's what's leaking on these right here. So I have a new oil pan gasket, but I still need to get those. I may get away with just getting gasket maker on it. So we'll see. Fingers crossed. And just like that, it is many hours later, and the pan is down. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take off the this oil pump piping, what is it called, pickup tube, and that should give me access to the bearings. So far so good. Doesn't look like there was no metal shavings in here, so that was good. Oil pump chain is a little bit loose, but I think that should be all right. And then this pickup, I can't remember if it's supposed to look like that, but might pull that off and just clean it out. I'm gonna let this drain for a little second, clean up everything, but yeah, there's no signs of, I got my headlamp on, so no signs of metal in the oil. Normally you can see like glitter and stuff, kind of like waves of glitter in there, but I'm not seeing anything, especially whenever I was draining it out of the whenever the pan was still on. It was just coming out like normal oil. So got everything in my bag. So this is how I normally don't do it this way, but when you're working behind people sometimes, now I'm working in a shop with other people and I'm gonna have my mechanic maybe do some of this. This just makes it easier. Kind of, I have it in a line of what I pulled things off of. So the last thing is I just gotta put the bolts down here for the oil pan. So that way whenever I do the bearings, everything is just one bag after another going back up. So now that is done on my little M6, now we get to the bearings. So let's get to it. All right, it is day 3. I just realized I haven't been doing like POV, but currently working on it. I am super oily, but yeah, basically what happened yesterday was I had to stop I was like on a good pace, but I didn't have my torque wrench. And I got to the rod bearings, and yeah, that's a big thing for those. So I just kind of waited till today. I got my torque wrench right there. So yeah, I'll show you all pretty much like a little time lapse of me doing all of them, and I'll show you like the aftermath of the bearings. So far they look good. I've only done 2 of them, so. I am sweaty and greasy and oily, but the bearings are done. I'll show you them in 1 second. All right, so these were the bearings. Let's do an inspection on them. So it's not too bad. I think this one was like the worst one because you could kind of see some copper flakes in there. That one's pretty bad too. But yeah, all the levers are not too bad. I think this was done previously by a BMW dealership because they used all the OEM bolts. But yeah, new ones are in. Torque to 60 foot-pounds, plastic gauge to all of them, and they all came into spec. They were all within 75 to 80. And then, yeah, I just did the 60 foot-pounds anyway. But yeah, kept all the old bolts, all the hardware, used assembly lube on it. That on the bolts. Now we put that back on, and then that goes back up, and then all this goes back up, and then we're on to installing this bad boy, which I've never done one of these before, so this will be kind of cool. I got all the timing components right here. Timing chain should be good, but this is just to lock all of the Vanos stuff in place. Flywheel lock right here. Crank hub. I mean, I didn't really necessarily need this per se, because I'm just using that. But yeah, on to the next task. Alright, so we got the oil pan back on. I got this little solenoid on the side. As I was cleaning out the oil pan, I noticed something. I'm just gonna like not think about it until I get up to the head, but yeah, like what are those? I think this is a spring, like the cap. But I mean, like, there's this, right? That's like a spring, like a very tiny spring. So I'm thinking like maybe like something in the Vanos system, may have exploded, or under here there may be like a cap that could have exploded. And I don't know. I'm confused though because there's also this little guy little ball. What the hell? It's obviously a little ball bearing. But like, where did that come from? You know? So, I guess we'll see when we get up to the top. But I mean, it runs and drives, so it shouldn't be like too bad. There was no compression on cylinder 1. So, yeah, we'll see. Alright, it is a lot later in the day. I have this side of the head kind of disassembled. Let's see if I can get that right there. Pretty much what I'm doing right now is I got everything pulled off. I believe I have to get these butterfly valves off. Keep calling them throttle bodies. Get those off. I have the exhaust unbolted. That took quite a bit of time because I realize now that I probably should have dropped the whole entire subframe with the motor on, but the fact that I was doing 2 jobs at once, it just kind of skewed my thought process. Probably next time, if you ever have to do any head gasket work or any like internal motor work, I would say to just drop the whole entire motor, transmission, and subframe assembly as a whole, because this is a PIA to work on while it's in the car. Rod bearings, not so bad. That was already done first part of the day, but now we are just pretty much getting all of this stuff off of it. So I have this side off, exhaust manifold, and now I'm working on this side on it. And I've never done Vanos on these S85 motors, so this will be fun. I gotta look up and see the correct procedure on it. I know that there is something you have to like press a bolt in this back of this, so whenever it slides off, it doesn't, you can see these have like 2 little sprockets on it. Yeah, normally like people mess it up by just taking it off without putting a little guide bolt in the back, but I don't know too much about it. I don't want to talk and sound like a dumbass, but I'm gonna get it. I just have to look up the correct remove procedures on both of these, and this should be done. Also, this is a little out of the way from the video, but I got my N55 out of the 7 Series right here. This thing is locked up. I'll be rebuilding it as well. So as soon as we undid it from the torque converter, it started kind of freeing up a little bit, so that was kind of sus. But I do believe the rod bearings are toast on this one, so I'm going to pull the oil pan down and inspect from there. All right, so good news. I look like a raccoon. So cylinder 1 right there, the shop that diagnosed it before, they said that it had no compression. So that's correct. Whenever I got the M6, it was also throwing misfires on cylinder 2 and 4, or 2 and 7, which, I'm sorry. It was throwing misfires on 6 and 7, which is the second bank right here. That's the first 2 right there. I just checked. The injectors were unplugged, so I didn't check those cylinders for any damage. I just thought, I already knew that cylinder 1 was damaged. It's possible that they may have unplugged them. I don't know, but I was cool that I found that out. I just plugged them back in. So we'll see whenever I get that head back on right there. But yeah, this is turning out to be a bigger pain in the ass than I thought, because I'm having to remove all of the plastic wiring harness that's going down the center. And basically there's like a lot more. Like, I thought that it was just the butterfly valves that were attached to it, but there's also a the coolant jacket right here. And then on the back, there's like a little pipe that connects both of them. So I'm having to remove that. But yeah, let's get back into the time lapse. Okay, so I've been doing some research. This was the photo that I just took right here. These are the pieces that I found in the oil pan. I was kind of scared. I was looking mainly online to find these pieces that look maybe like they could have snapped off something circular. Like obviously this piece looks like it's like a circle that had broken off on the edge. There's a little ball bearing, and then that's like coil spring that's kind of straightened out. Well, I was on the forums just kind of researching around, and I saw this guy post up about a valve spring all snapped, and I don't know, that kind of looks, it looks a little thick. That it could be that, but I did notice that. I have not taken it apart yet to see where this is at, but it's good to know that this is up on the top end. I was scared that maybe my Vanos pump was failing, but it looks like all of the Vanos pump stuff, failure. Yeah, like, so this guy said that his Vanos pump failed, and if you can see here, that's what his... So I'm here at the shop. It's literally 12:31 midnight. Couldn't sleep. I really wanted to find out exactly what these little metal pieces were. These metal pieces right here, they were tripping me out. And in that last clip, I probably was like showing you, I like found on the site, it looked like it may have been the Vanos pump, but I pulled everything apart, and let me turn this off and get this little light right here. All right, that should be a little better. There's one lifter right there. Just completely sat down in the groove. All these other lifters are a-okay, but I think that's the culprit. Here, a magnet. I got the light in my mouth right now. All right, so pulled one of these out. God, dude, it's so hard. Alright, so I pulled one of these guys out, and I think, if I'm looking at this correctly, that piece right there, actually I'm using the headlamp. Alright, so that piece right there, I believe is the inside of this. I mean, all the color of the metal is the same. Like, it's gotta be. It's gotta be it. Alright, so after doing a little bit of digging, I decided to get one of the little lifter caps and put it in a vise and simulate, like, kind of exploding to get this little guy out, because I wasn't really sure looking at it. So I was able to get it popped out, and lo and behold, as you can see right there is that little spring that we were looking for. Let's go over here. So I believe, if this is correct, that is the little spring right there. Following me here. and I believe that piece is maybe this outer shell. And then if you look down in there, right in the middle is, well, I lost it, but there was that little ball that was down here. So, safe to say, I don't think this was my Vanos. I did check it. It looked good, but yeah, this was all that was in the pan. So I think I'm safe to just put this head on and should be good. So just a drop lifter right there. All right, day 4. Got the head out. Right, yeah. Basically had to use this hoist because if you're familiar with BMWs, they have these like time and chain guides right here. Like on the M52 motors, you kind of have to like pull it out this way and then up and then out without breaking that guide right there. Basically the same thing. I just, with this, how awkward and like there's no room in this engine bay to kind of like just go directly up and out. You had to kind of finagle it. I thought it was just best to wait for somebody or figure out this contraption. So I got the engine hoist, I tied it around the throttle actuators and to that one little hoist spot on the side of the head. And yeah, she's out. Let me show you the piston. I did notice it was hitting right there. Wasn't really hitting hard. It's not even indented at all. It just looks like it was just grazing the head. And I checked the rod out. The rod doesn't have any bending on it, but it's all the way top dead center right now. I mean, it's locked in place with the little tool right here, and it's flush with the head. So I'm assuming it didn't damage anything down there, and the piston has no really movement on it. So I think it's safe to say that we're not gonna need a bottom end rebuild. I think we could just do a direct swap ski over. So let's get to it.
Okay, so learn from my mistakes here. You can see that the head is sitting directly on my dirty ass snap-on kneel pad, and that thing was filled with like debris and grime. And yeah, I didn't even clean it off. I just put it directly onto the block. Luckily, everything was good. But I caught that after everything was put back together. I just couldn't sleep at night. I was like, dude, did I clean it off or did I not? But looking back at this footage, I did not clean that off.
Alright, so it is day 5. Have the head on right now. I'm just getting the cams lined up. I was just checking down there with my little bore scope to make sure that the crank is on top dead center. There is a dowel this thing sits into. When you push it in, you'll see it through that little hole right there, and it should say OT on the big old crank plate. But right now I'm just watching a YouTube video. All the identifix stuff is kind of, it's easier just to watch a video of somebody else doing it. So I'm watching that, getting this all lined up, and then I think I did this correctly. I'm not too sure, but there was like you have to like, I forget, but you had to like basically line the cam up and then loosen these while you had that piece on the front, and then you're able to put this in while you loosen it, and then this one goes in and then this one comes out or something. But I mean, this little holder is in place. But yeah, hopefully that stays in time. I'm gonna put that on and then should be good to go. All right, so I think I made a little mistake.
doing the Vanos adjustment. I don't think this was on all the way whenever I picked it up. These two gears kind of turned inward, because what you're supposed to do is have, you see how this bolt right here is off from this one? Same from right there. I think they both like turned inward, just like one tooth, because I marked right there to be the edge of the head. So I was just going based off of this. I reused my Vanos gears, but I think I should have marked the actual spline on it itself. But oh well, you live, you learn. So what I'm gonna have to do now is take these back off. I have the bolts in, and take this chain and essentially pull this whole entire gear adjustment out, and then turn both of them. This one's gonna go in one tooth this way, and then this one's gonna go one tooth that way. And that way, this bolt lines up right there. All right, after a lot of wiggling, I don't know if you can see, but I believe I've gotten it. This one kind of looks off ever so slightly, but I think it should be all right. All right, so we are in perfect time. I spun the crank all the way over and tightened all these down. 4 bolts on the front of the Vanos unit. And I was a little scared at first because I was just checking the timing. Normally, you know, they would both be at the same point, but apparently this one is going to be top dead center on the intake. And I checked with the tool on it, it was good. And then you spin it over a little bit, there's another dowel on there to check the exhaust crank, exhaust cam. And I was curious because I thought this one was off by like 39 degrees, but apparently that's correct. So spins over good. Seems like it has a little bit more resistance than it did before, but timing is theoretically the timing is done. So alright, I think it is ready. Pretty much everything has been, I still got to put coolant in, but put coolant in. I'm going to prime it, check for fuel leaks, and I'm just going to triple check everything relating to hosing. Just kind of go over, but everything on the bottom's good. I got the subframe reattached, motor mounts are on. All the gaskets have checked. There is a leak coming on the bottom right now. You can probably see a little puddle right there. It is due to, I think there was like coolant in the middle part, and because the motor was sitting like this for so long, whenever I put it back up, it is now dripping back into the bell housing. So we'll see how that is. So far so good. So yep, gonna check over a few more things, and then a video of it cranking for the first time should happen. All right, I think we're going to attempt first startup. Oil. Okay. In theory, we have oil, we have coolant. All right, we have oil, we have coolant. I believe all the oil lines and all the coolant lines are tight. I have a little platform down there that will show me if there's any leaks going on. So right now, I'm just going to crank it, try to get some oil, and then yeah, it should fire up.
fighting for. That's what it's all about. Woo!
Oh my god! It fucking runs! Holy shit. Alright, and really no leaks. I'm gonna go over everything. It did sound like it was running a little rough. May just be due to gas that's been sitting in here for like a couple years.
2,000 years later.
It's like day 5 of the car. I finally got it dialed in from that last video. Kind of figured out all the little options to it. The fact that it has dynamics mode, and like I didn't realize there was a secret setting on the iDrive for P500 mode, and that shit slaps. So we're gonna do a little pulley here after this car turns on. The car, I'm gonna use a whole speedometer, baby. Oh my god, that is a rush. But yeah, I guess this is the end of the series because the car is good. Up next, probably we're gonna replace the dashboard on it. You can probably see it up there, but now me and the fiance Emma are gonna go get some food and the nice whip. So I'll see you guys later. So we're over here at Walker Muffler, getting this thing straight pipe. Alright, so at the time of this recording, it's been about 2 months since I've sold the vehicle.
I just didn't have time to edit, but kind of a little backstory. That videos kind of ended at the road trip going up to sell the vehicle. Had the car posted for about a week at 21,000, and ended up settling for 19,000 due to it being reconstructed, a 6-speed manual, and I had literally every single thing done to it: rod bearings, throttle actuators, vanos line. And I found one buyer that talked with me for a couple of days and did walk-arounds, and he had been looking for an exact black on black, everything done to it so my car fit what he wanted. And he was like, look, I'll give you a deposit right now, we'll arrange transport. And I told him, like, look, I can just drive it up. I have a trailer. Me and my wife need to take a trip. So never been to Indiana, but it was snowing at the time, so there was a snowboard park up there. So we ended up going to snowboard, and then I got to him and gave him the keys. It was a nice trip. So overall, 10 out of 10 experience. There was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that was put into that whole project, but on to the next thing. But I appreciate y'all staying and watching this whole video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe. I'll be trying to make some new videos. I've been out of the YouTube game for a long time. I used to make videos like way back in 2015, but now that I have moved into the automotive world and built up a business, I will be doing this a lot more now that I'm more comfortable with my day-to-day, and I can start recording stuff. So appreciate y'all for staying and watching. Till next time.